Good morning, everyone. We're going to talk about potatoes. We're going to talk about potatoes. Um, Potatoes are awesome vegetables. They are starch, they are carbohydrates, they have vitamins, minerals, they have potassium, they have all kinds of magnesium. Now, a regular potato is better than any processed potato, okay? And sweet potatoes are better yet. So sweet potatoes have a little more fiber, a little more vitamins, minerals, so on and so forth. But a potato has more potassium than a banana. So in an SHTF situation, you might want to make sure that you have potatoes, ways to grow potatoes, and potatoes in your stockpile. And I'm going to tell you all the different potatoes that I have in my stockpile. First of all, I do have canned potatoes, but I didn't go into my longer term to pull them out. I also have frozen potatoes in my freezers, but I didn't pull those out. So frozen and canned potatoes are also available. And having frozen potatoes, if you need them, are great. French fries, tater tots, all kinds of things that are in the frozen section with potatoes. They even have frozen mashed potatoes. To me, that's a waste of space in my freezer, but hey, if you want them, get them, because you need them. So potatoes are something that you need. They're easy to grow. You can grow them from what you have. You don't have to go to the feed store and find potatoes. Even if I were to take this potato here, who has no eyes yet, and I were to cut it from the little itty bitty eye sense and put it in the ground, chances are I'm going to get a potato. Okay? What I did was I found some potatoes in my potato thing that got away from me. There were like, I think 2 or 3 potatoes. I cut them up. I shoved them in some old straw bales that are sitting next to the house underneath the pine tree. And guess what? They're growing. I am going to have some potatoes. I need to check on them though, because they could rot in those straw bales. But potatoes are easy to grow. They're easy to keep. As long as you keep them dry, cool, and in a dark spot, they're fine. My granny down in Kentucky had acres of potatoes, and we would put them in, we would knock the dirt off. We didn't wash them. We would knock the dirt off, put them in cardboard boxes, and put them under the bed. You can put them in the cellar. You can put them down in a dark cabinet somewhere. Just keep an eye on them. Make sure they didn't get wet. Make sure they're not growing down there. But if they're growing, take them outside, cut them up, and put them in the ground. Why not? Potatoes, very, very important. And you hear about the potato famine in Ireland. That is how much those people depended upon potatoes for their mainstay diet. Okay, so potatoes, you can eat potatoes for a very long time, and they will give you the nourishment that you need, and even protein. There's protein in potatoes. But when you start getting into processed potatoes, you're going to lose some of those factors, and you're going to raise up the sodium factor. But let's talk about prepping potatoes. Okay, so we have our regular potatoes that we buy out of the store. They're great to have. They're also great to plant. Sweet potatoes being better. Okay, now my absolute have to have in this household, and not just in my preps, in my everyday pantry, are instant potatoes. I have to buy boxes of instant potatoes. Now I have 2 different kinds here. I got this one on sale. I bought this one because it was cheap at Walmart when I went, but this one I had a coupon for and I had it on sale, so that's why I got this brand. You have buds, flakes, and whatever. To me, it doesn't matter. Now I do use the flaked potatoes for breading, or to add to thicken a soup or something like that. If I make potato soup, I will use instant potatoes to thicken my soup a little bit better, so that way I can add a little more cheese to it and it's not just floating in water. So I think instant potatoes are absolutely a must in my household. My husband prefers them over me making real potatoes. And the reason is because I use broth instead of just water. I keep bouillon, broths, and I use that instead of water when I make my instant potatoes. So these 2 will need to be broke down. I'm going to fill up my counter jar. I keep a huge mason jar with my instant potatoes in it. So when I do make instant potatoes, they're right there on my cabinet. But I'm going to break these down, put them in Mylar, and put them in a potato bucket. Okay, so we have boxes. But if you're looking to do like bug out bags, bug home bags, or you just want to have already portioned out, look here, instant potatoes in these wonderful bags. This one is the Idahoan Veggie Mash. I was getting these for 49 cents a piece at Kroger with a digital. So I keep these. It has broccoli and cheddar in it. So what a great add to something, and I can put it in my bug out bag. This one here is the Idahoan Buttery Homestyle one. If you notice one of my hauls, one of my prepping hauls last week, I got a bunch of instant potatoes, like for 39 cents a package, or yeah, something like that. And I got 10 of them. This one here is the Idahoan Peppered Bacon and Cheddar. Hungry Jack makes instant potato packs. I believe there might even be some store brands. These are great. They're already in good packaging. Now what I am going to do though is the ones that I put in my bucket, I'm going to pierce just a little tiny hole in it, put it in my Mylar, and seal it with an oxygen absorber, because I want to keep, I just think it's better than dumping it in the Mylar. So I'm just going to punch a hole, put it in my Mylar, put my O2 absorber in there, and seal my Mylar bag up. But these go into my mid to long term preps, or my bug out bag, or my get home bag. These are great portions. Now, another product that we can find are dehydrated hash browns. Okay, dehydrated hash browns are good to have in your preps. These are the Idahoan. They're already in a little package. What a great thing to put in your bug out bag. These are the Hungry Jack box. You could repackage those, and you have dehydrated potatoes. Something that people overlook are these potato mixes. Like this is the Betty Crocker au gratin sliced potatoes. This is what you find when you open these. Sliced dehydrated potatoes. And if you get it for a really good deal, they're awesome. And it also has their package, their cheesy, creamy package in here. I don't know how much these last, but you know, put these in Mylar. I would wrap this probably with cardboard, just a thin layer of cardboard, so it wouldn't squash my potatoes all that much, even though it wouldn't matter if they were broke up. But these kind of potato mixes, they come in store brands, other brands, they come in a hash, like a shredded style. So these are overlooked for preps, and I don't know why, because look, you've got dehydrated potatoes here. Okay, dehydrated potatoes also come in a chip version. So what a great thing to put in your prepper bag. Pringles or dehydrated chips of any brand will last longer in your preps than regular potato chips because they don't have the oil. So they're dehydrated potatoes made into a chip, and this is the prepper's potato chip. It's my potato chip. This is not my flavor though. I don't like sour cream and onion, but guess what? I'm going to eat them because I like stuff like that. Okay, canned potatoes. Like I said, I didn't bring them out of my storage because I don't use them. But I do try to find things that have potatoes in them. First of all, let's go ahead and look at the sweet potatoes I got. I got these for $1.29. Yes, they're in heavy syrup, but you know what? If I had been craving a pie, which I did because I had apples, we made apple pies, I could have made us a sweet potato pie while we were on shutdown if I couldn't get out and get what I needed. It's already got sugars and everything in it, and so I think sweet potatoes kept like this would make great desserts if you were in a lockdown situation and you know you had your meal and you wanted something sweet. Canned yams are great, or just eating them alone, making pies out of them. You can make pancakes with them. You can squash them up into your pancake batter. I mean, sweet potatoes, canned or raw, or if you can find sweet potatoes like this, or frozen, or however, sweet potatoes are also very good for you. Now, there's things that I always look for that have potatoes in them. For example, beef stew. It has meat, potatoes, and some vegetables. Some of these chunky soups. This is the savory pot roast. It has potatoes in it, but I could still put these over instant potatoes, pasta, or rice. But today we're talking about potatoes. When you're looking at canned vegetables, try to do mixed vegetables because they have potatoes in them. And you can also utilize the broth, make a soup, whatever. Now this one is the savory vegetable. It also has potatoes, it just has no meat in it. So there you go. Now something you can do with these instant potatoes is, for example, say this was a Bear Creek soup. I have them in my longer term in buckets. I don't have any out here to show you. But act like this is a Bear Creek instant soup. They have all different kinds. Those are really good if you are putting them in your bug out bag or you just need a soup mix for around. You can always add instant potatoes to the soup mix to make it a little more hearty, so on and so forth. Now this is a broccoli and cheese soup that I have, and say more people came or I just wanted it to have more consistency, I could add instant potatoes to this soup and thicken it up. And that's what I do when I make potato soup at home. I cut my potatoes, I cook them, I'm cooking them, and then at the end I will add some instant potatoes, and that way it will thicken my potato soup. So I just wanted to tell you about potatoes. I think they are super important and they're very nutritious, and I think whether they're in your short-term, mid-term, or long-term preps, very important, as well as your bug-out bags, or your get-home bags, or your journey-home bags, or your bags, period. So, potatoes, the vegetable of the day. I've got to go check on the puppy. Y'all have a great day. Hugs from a distance. Heart goes out to those dealing with the floods and coronavirus crud. Bye, y'all.